My name is Andreas. I'm a public policy student at SFU, and I'm a graduate research assistant here at UBC Learning Exchange as well.
My name is Heather. I'm a doctoral student at UBC, and I'm a graduate research assistant here as well for Learning Exchange.
My name is Amber. I'm a violence prevention worker at Crabtree Corner, so working with women experiencing intimate partner violence.
I'm Rashmi, and I facilitate DSL. I was interested here for this discussion because I have done a master's in psychology, but haven't any exposure or experience working in the field. Because I went through spousal violence, and I'm really stuck right now. Linda here is my manager.
It would be very helpful to the police if we listen to their workload. We can do that by doing some preventive work. I think you're being called way too often where it's not really necessary to have police
Learning a lot
officers
from here.
there. When we have police support in the buildings.
Good thing to do, seeing a robbery just across the street. And when the police came, they came to her house and asked for her status. When she had no involvement in the robbery, she was just reporting it. She was just doing the good thing that any of us would probably do. And she got so scared, she called me, crying, and saying, you know, and she was with her baby. The baby was crying, so it was a whole disturbing situation that was going on. So what I'm wondering is if any of this will happen here in Vancouver, if the BPD will respond at the same time, in the same way, and also if the BPD has an agreement with immigration. What I mean is if they will respond to a situation where one of these moms is perhaps suffering from domestic violence. She's calling the police to come on her help, and in the end she gets asked for her status. She has no status in Canada. Will the BPD be calling immigration on her?
I know I wouldn't be.
Of course, but
We have an obligation to law certain things that we have to enforce. The last thing I need to care about is if you just mess up by your spouse and there's an element of danger to your safety. It seems very strange that they would be concerned about the immigration status at all. And
well, the RCMP already did it with this mom because they kept on asking for her status and wanted her passport and wanted to see if she had or not an immigration status when she had no involvement at all in what was going on.
the only time I would take a real interest in immigration status is if you're a violent drug dealer. That's what I take an interest in. Or if you're a criminal.
Right.
Yeah, so I can't tell you what kind of we've got out of people work with immigration, but I couldn't tell you what if they have any understandings or anything.
United, I'm aware of the service generally, and I know it really work, but
I've had women get like accosted leaving court by their didn't go well. Are they ever going to go back? No, right? So I think that our protection measures need to be
powwows or anything because they don't want to be perceived as having a mental illness or no one carry as their worker. That's their option and stuff, and I certainly don't blame them. I have information tables in the community at Oppenheimer Park. I have an information table. People come by, take a look at the word mental health, and then walk away really quickly. They'd rather be perceived as having an addiction or being a victim of violence or a sex trade worker than having a mental illness. That is such a negative connotation for our people. That is such a misunderstanding, of what we do. And I certainly relate to that. Around the word distrust.
I believe there's a lot of fear.
Cultural competency is not hanging a native picture in your office. That's not what that is.
And trying to stop
Perry, I was just gonna say on that. I mean, in Vancouver, the downtown Eastside is one of the only places where, as a white person, you're basically a visible minority, right? Like it is one of the places that very visibly has the native strong native population, right? You go to some other cities like Edmonton or Winnipeg, there's more areas than that, right, off-res. But this is the, talking to the community, this is one of those communities. It is one of the only off-res communities, I would argue, that's,
yeah, for sure.
native
Anything
so to speak,
and the other thing
right,
right
socially,
now that
publicly.
we are facing, especially for people with non-status, and I was just telling Sandra that, is that
I think the sound is really
last year,
so incredibly
government permanent residence status if the person is accessing that program. So a lot of those programs run in the neighborhood houses and community centers. And so these moms who have no status at all or are on a vulnerable status cannot access those programs anymore. So there's a big lack of services for them.
I just want a clarifying question of what you're meaning by saying the sanctuary city status, just so that I'm understanding it correctly, because it's counterintuitive. Does that mean that people who don't have status, which means immigration status of some sort, would not face like prosecution of some sort, or deportation or something?
Yeah, certainly with the police will not ask for an immigration status unless there's a warrant or unless there's a big criminal record. But if they stop like people like me, and the police won't be asking me for status. Same thing in the transit. And also accessing neighborhood houses and community centers as well, that most of them depend on funding as well. So sanctuary city basically is that people will have a sanctuary.
Is it drug, possession of a drug deemed illegal? If it has potential to cause harm to society? If that's the case, why isn't alcohol and tobacco dealt with the same intensity as, say, marijuana or hashish or LSD, for example? Shouldn't it be based on people's behavior engaging in a substance rather than
Not causing harm to other people or property, it should not properly be classified as illegal. And it was based on the marijuana laws, and they brought evidence that there's very limited evidence of harm, but also contrasted it with alcohol, which we all know that whether it's a cause or effect is rife with so many violent criminal activities. And in some ways I think it suffered from the timing. It was about 10 years ago, and the courts, there was beginning to be a liberalization, but we certainly hadn't had the stuff going on in the US. The thought was there was a huge concern of the court what our relationships with the Americans would be and so on if they actually declared that you couldn't criminalize marijuana. So the court said it might be a good idea, but we're going to leave that to Parliament. There's a much different atmosphere with what's going on with decriminalization, and the court might look at it somewhat differently. But they brought those arguments, and what the court said is, well, sometimes you can, and they came up with some ingenious arguments, well, someone operating heavy machinery, if they're high, might be a problem. So, and we can't really find out before whether they're high, so we have to criminalize everybody. They were pretty strained arguments, I think most people thought, but they ended up upholding it.
She gave her rights, somebody teaches her rights. So I choose to work down here because I want to give back to my people, and I also want to help other people that don't understand about marginalized people to build this relationship, because we have to work together. It takes a village to raise a child. Go back to that.
So systemic racism, that I think is a big factor within our communities. you know, as a native man, brown skin, dark hair, I have to actually educate people and kind of prove myself almost to mainstream society that, hey, I'm not a criminal, I'm not a white beater, I'm not a thief, I'm not an alcoholic. You know, I have to actually prove that first before I'm accepted. It's almost taken for granted that that's what I am.
Well, I think that really carries over into the legal system too, where it's almost like guilt before innocence. You know, what systemic racism manifests itself like that. Just kind of looking at the legal part of it, right? Is that have any of you had experiences of that, where what you look like or where you come from or what you represent works against you? You find you're proving you're pushing against already something that's decided about you. Like as Toledo, you mentioned that. You mentioned that that's where you come from.
No, thank you for saying that.
Definitely not. Permanent residence is not permanent anymore.
Yes, there's a theme.
Changes like the past 2 years, it's easier and easier to be permanent residence. That's why, I mean, if you ever meet somebody who doesn't have citizenship yet, and you have any way to like refer them to try to help them yourself apply for citizenship.
To a lot of what you were saying around various
I often have clients explaining how the idea of facing deportation that I feel like they're not human.
you know, their lives, their generational poverty.
We do have just about a couple more minutes. So is there anybody who maybe hasn't spoke or they want to share or ask some clarifying questions or anything like that?
One of the things I find
We had a really, I think that was an awesome discussion. Not an awesome topic, but lots of fun sharing.
Services and
I just have a question for the lawyers. I don't know if this is at all in your area, but I've tried to help people apply for status in recent years, Indian impersonation status. And I can't. Is that just an administrative or bureaucratic backlog, or are no applications being processed? What's going on?
I haven't done that actually.
No, I've had a few colleagues that have discussed
I've tried to.
that, if it's, but I haven't done it myself. No, I would assume it's just this government doesn't do certain things, do policy choices.
with them, so that's a plan that we're
It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
you know, is